hello, making a matching clay video, sort of. And it is hot today, extremely hot. I had to take a shower and I had to rinse off with ice cold water afterwards. It felt really good and it feels extremely amazing to be making a video with clay after having been showered with cold water and in this warm air. It's absolutely incredible. And I see there is, looks like that is the same insect. I don't know if you can see it. I think it's the same insect that was trapped, and I think it is a cricket. And they make these really amazing sounds, like and now the cricket is walking on top of, no, not on top, it's still on the inside of the greenhouse, but on the top window. Wonder what they eat. Maybe they eat fruit flies? I don't think so. No. I wonder what they eat. Little spiders or something. Those are amazing insects. You can pick them up. They're very slow. They walk slow. Listening to Jiddu Krishnamurti and David Bohm talking about the dissolution of self. I was talking to my brother earlier. We had really wonderful conversations with my parents. We all four together. It was nice and wonderful, and I am infinitely grateful for that. I love them so infinitely much, all of them. They are so important to me. And then I talked to my brother for about an hour longer, and I said to him, I showed him the Caspar and the Seppel, and I told him that because he's a filmmaker and he knows a lot about special effects, and here's I just want to show real quick. I wonder if you can see it. Is that a cricket? Hello. The cricket? I don't know. So, and I told him that I need him to put my Caspar and Seppel and all of my other figures, the clay figures and the sculptures. I need him to put that into the computer, into a 3D image. You know, the computer calculates out every angle and everything of this object, and then has it basically downloaded in it, the entire object like this, in 3D, mathematically calculated, into depths and everything. And then basically what we can do afterwards, we can, you know, we can add things, we can add extensions, we can make it stretch. We can stretch it in any directions. The nose too can be stretched out. And you can do different things with it, you know, it can be morphed into anything. And I can also give it an entire body, and with arms and feet and legs and everything, just the way I want it. And there's endless possibilities that are already in my head right now, the way I can morph those. And what I really find interesting is making them move their bodies. So and that takes my artwork to another level, that gives my artwork actual life, where it becomes alive. And then if we want to take it to another level, I would have to talk to David Hansen about this. That would be absolutely incredible. David Hansen is an amazing guy. He had, together with Ben Goertzel, they have developed the Sophia robot. And David Hansen has been a mask builder and animated, computerized mask and all kinds of things for Hollywood already. Been for a long time. He must have started very early in life with this, because I know his name from way back in Hollywood, being the #1 mask builder, mask maker. So, you know, for all kinds of things, horror films and action films and all kinds of stuff. So, moving masks, basically. And he has developed many moving masks also now that he makes into robots. And gradually they're becoming more and more alive. And Sophia is the #1 prototype AGI, so I assume Sophia is going to be the first AGI. So she's getting arms now. She has these prosthetic arms with fingers and everything, the Honda Asimo type of arms. And they also put her on legs, trying things out now with her moving and walking, you know, the Asimo type of legs also. Honda Asimo, for example, and some other similar ones. All in Asia. Honda Asimo is in Japan, and if I'm not totally wrong, I think they're in Japan. And there are some other ones that are similar that are in South Korea. So, and there's one giant one, I think, in South Korea, like the giant that you can climb into, sort of like, you know, for construction work, those type of things, but much more complicated, much more complex. One that can actually walk and take things in his hands and stuff like this. One that you would use on another planet, you know, to navigate your way through a very rough and rocky terrain, picking up rocks, putting them into a bag or something, or backpack, and bringing all of this back to the main space station. So for those things, these things are made, and for all kinds of things, you know, emergency services, rescuing people out of debris in emergency situations, and so on. And also some dogs that are made, but the dogs, they look kind of like deer more. They need to make those dogs in the way that I would mold dogs, you know, the way I make dogs. I don't have one ready here right now, but the way I design dogs is, you know, like a European Basset Hound with very, very long and fat bodies and very short and fat legs, like a hippopotamus, sort of, you know, or like this type of shape. And then this is a very, very powerful shape. With this shape, that's why we call Papa Dog the caterpillar. And Papa Dog walks up a hill. He does not fall because he's like a caterpillar, you know, with very thick and short legs and a long, big body, walking up slowly a hill, having a lot of power, but not falling, not tumbling, because he's so incredibly grounded with that shape. Very sturdy. It's a very sturdy shape and very very shake resistant. So our former dog, whom I would compare to a giraffe, was kind of the opposite in this way. Very long and thin kind of legs, like the giraffe in the painting by Salvador Dali. And very top heavy and not bottom strong. So like standing on these long spider type of legs, sort of, and easily falling. And he's fallen many times, and then when they get old, they fall a lot, and they are not sturdy. They don't have this sturdy, grounded shape. So that's why he couldn't walk up the stairs, for example, anymore. It was awfully scary for him. So for Papa Dog, walking up the stairs, it's like walking on the level ground. It's almost the same. It doesn't bother him at all, whether he goes up or down, because he goes slowly like a caterpillar. And he's very strong and sturdy. And so I want to make artwork like this in animation. Want to make this become animated, and then eventually I want that to be made into robotics. So that's my dream. That can be done after I'm dead too. So, but I just wanted to, you know, in this lifetime, wanted to excite people with that idea and put this idea into the world. That idea of very specific shapes. So, as an artist, introducing these very specific shapes to the world. And then people can work with that and make something amazing happen. And I think those shapes are not just artistic, they're going to be of very practical value to people. And I see that that people who are in robotics, they usually take something that they find elegant, you know, in shape, but they forget that this elegant shape may not be so practical in its application. So that's why, you know, I'm introducing the hippopotamus shape. So the sturdy European basset hound caterpillar hippopotamus type of shape, and brontosaurus type of shape, or stegosaurus, you know, those dinosaurs with the very fat, short legs and very strong, sturdy bodies that are but just standing like a real big fat table in a very sturdy, grounded way. And when they move and when they walk, they're going to be very, very steadfast and very, very sturdy in the way they step and walk over rough terrain. So that's going to be awesome. It's so hot. I'm constantly drinking water. These are really great thermos mugs. I'm not sponsored for this, so I just love them. They are amazing. I even forgot the company's name. I really love those. I have two of those, one in orange and one in red. And they were reasonably priced, so Paul found those. Art is a lifesaver on all levels, I would say, you know, for all fields, all applications, all levels. Papa Dog is pure art. Paul said, why do you think Papa Dog is art? Because of the way people designed those over the centuries and mated the ones they like the best. Yes, but also they're also creations of the infinite cosmos. So they are infinite cosmos art. That's what they are. I want to make a movie with the Papa Dog. You know, I wrote a fairy tale, which is kind of boring, but you know, I don't mind if we get together with some other people and make something amazing out of it. You know, we can make something powerful with that. You know, if we all put our minds into it. So I basically just wrote a sort of like, I'm not a movie script writer, so I just wrote just a basically boring type of plot, and I put my message in it, the message of love, but it has to be, it can be made into something much more amazing and dramatic. It is playing actually during the time of Hildegard von Bingen when she was old, which was 1100, around 1180. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Okay, in somewhere around the Rhine River in Germany. And she has built so-called cloisters or cloisters, and they are monasteries and very beautiful. You can see them, you can visit them today. And that was before the Christian religion sort of started to splinter into different type of groups. And Hildegard von Bingen, read her story. It is quite an amazing figure. And a very powerful mind, a very strong mind, very powerful soul, an indigo. Indigos have it very hard. It's very rough. They suffer from migraine headaches. A beautiful woman, inside and out, who wanted to make the world a better place. So, and I put her at the center of my story. And I also put one of the kings, the Barbarossa with the red hair, who was also at that around that same time. And I put the two boys, Walter von der Vogelweide was around 11 years old at that time, and I think Neidhart von Royenthal, and they were two poets and songwriters for the so-called Minnesang during the early Middle Ages. I don't know if that was considered early Middle Ages, but it's considered Middle Ages. I think that was the time, the era of the Goth era, that is so popular today with so many music bands and folk music bands and stuff like that. And I understand why, you know, they have brought some amazing music into the world, and they have inspired the future generations very much with their music. Even though the music from then on had become gradually more and more and more complex and more elaborate, and with more and more people playing simultaneously to large orchestras and so on, and it just kept on growing and multiplying into different eras and different genres and so on and on and on. But the Minnesang has always survived, has always lived on throughout the generations. And there are people who who are very true to the Minnesang and to the old instruments that they used during that era, very simplistic wooden type of instruments, harps and mandolin types, and even some string instruments, and even some really amazing kind of like really amazing blow type of instruments, and just incredible. I don't even know how they're called, but just incredible music instruments that they have developed that are kind of simplistic but very beautiful and very original and very natural and nature oriented. Very nice. So yeah, I want to put those types of people into the movie. That would be really amazing. Making a video. I told you. You can walk through, it's okay. Wow, it's hot. It's amazing. It's like 90 degrees. I love to look into those really tall and large needle trees that are out there. Different types of needle trees. Beautiful. I think those are called tujas that are right in front of our window. Tuja occidentalis, I think. And they are bearing fruits, a whole lot of fruits. All these branches full of little pine cones. It's so amazing and cute. And they're called white cedar because the needle patina shines kind of very light greenish. Very light, almost looks like snow sometimes. It's very light green. And a lovely, amazing green. A green that I have always loved. Wonderful green. This whitish green. Ghost green. I love it. But I'm gonna start here in my place, I start with myself, with my own artwork, with my own ideas, and without anyone helping me or making this into something more elaborate, into something moving or robotic. All I have right now is have my studio here, and I am making my sculptures, and I'm gonna eventually probably have to make the Caspar and the Seppel into a full body, and then I can experiment, and then I think this is I'm gonna make a whole series out of this called Caspar and Seppel. And I've always had a strong fascination with these two figures. And the story by Ottfried Preußler, children's book writer, Caspar and Seppel, he came up with these two figures. They have been depicted in various ways by various different artists and sketch painters and so on, and made into different toys and Casper hand puppets and so on, and everyone brought their own idea into the shape and so on. But my brother and I, we had these Casper puppets that were specifically amazing. Man, they were amazing. They were made out of a rubber material and they had a very distinct smell, but they were very, very, very wonderfully crafted. I mean, the shape of them, of the faces, of all these different faces. Very interesting. Very interesting. Wonderfully made. Good artist. So, but I will put this into yet another shape. So I put it into my own blue god in person shape. And the cricket made it all the way to the entrance of that greenhouse now. He is almost at threshold now to get out. We'll see if he'll make it out. That'd be pretty cool. I guess he has wings. So yeah, so I'm gonna be making a series of those, and I will give them a body, and I will give them different types of bodies. So definitely, I'm even gonna give them an animal body with the Casper head, and maybe we'll even give him a chest with arms, but also with 4 animal legs, like a centaurus. So something like this probably will happen. So I want to make something with this now next. So I'm gonna have to use another one for that. So this is not enough. And to make them larger, I would actually need another thing, some kind of other material to make some other material to make into a skeleton, into a base bulk, and then put the clay on top of it as the skin, something like this. But to give them a very distinct shape, it's better to work with the clay only, and because then I really have the flexibility of making the legs or the feet into that exact shape that I wanted it to be in, like, you know, with the platform shoe and foot and leg and so on, sort of like this. Stock type of. Would be nice to have a very soft and large clay clumps available, and then working with that. But that gets very messy. I would have to do that in the garage. That'd be better. But I'm gonna start with this today after the video. I'm gonna make a Casper first into give him a body, and see where this goes. There were a couple of things I wanted to talk about. The most important thing that I think for the world that we need to create is we need to start with this therapy center in LA. It's very important. I have the feeling LA is the city for it. I don't know why I feel like that way. Maybe because that's where I started to liberate myself at age 26 when I went to Arjanov Center. So for me, LA will always be the place of psychological liberation. And so I think for that purpose, we need to create a therapy center there. And it is also a place of great diversity and worldviews and non-rigidity, non-communal rigidity. You know, we have strong communal rigidity here, where we live here. I was a little nervous, but very nervous about this. And that's why we don't have friends, because the rigidity level is so high that anyone who is outside of that rigidity mindset, it's a religious fundamentalism and the dusty enclave of mental imprisonment. You know, anyone who leaps out of this is regarded as a danger or as trouble. So I don't even want to get started with those people because of that. It's just too much trouble. Like my brother also said, you know, we need to really, in order to save us a lot of energy, we need to start with those people who are ready for that vibration of mindset and intent and future vision and art, of course. Art at the center of this entire development and infinity and energy healing and so on. Art is our therapist. So infinity. So center, and then from there, more centers out into the outskirts, into the rural areas, into all of the United States, into Mexico, South America, Europe, Canada, and the whole world, where we developed a whole lot of therapy centers for the people who are willing to do it, for those who are receptive to it. They're also going to be trained. When you do this program, you're also automatically being trained to help others. This should be a household skill, not just something that is fancy. Something, oh, you're a therapist. Oh, no, it should be something like everyday use for everyone. Not some fad, not some kind of, are you in therapy? Some kind of like an aristocratic type of good tone, but something that belongs into every household because it's a necessity for everyone. Every single person needs it. People scream for it already. They are more than receptive. I see this under the videos by Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson now at age 30, that's, that is exactly the age when I started to also have these same type of transformations and awareness. That's when we become very aware, around age 30. That's a lot of things happen then. And so he's getting into this now, getting into digging into psychology, because it is fascinating, it is interesting, it is liberating, and it is healing for ourselves and others. And that's why the people who even watch the videos are getting so much out of this already. They can really identify with him. They can't identify with me very much, with my quite monotonous talk videos that seem to be, that appear to be too much in the head, or they appear to be too theoretical. Something. They really are not, but to the average person, it seems to be, there's not much going on in my videos. There's a little Play-Doh play in it, but that isn't flashy enough. It's not like, it's not in your face, flashy, screaming, la la la, da da da, hoo hoo, shock value. So I'm not into this. Maybe that's necessary. So, but I want to train people to go into themselves and to contemplate and to breathe and to practice listening to someone for an hour, because that's going to help you if you practice listening to someone for an hour. Well, depends who it is. You don't want to listen to someone talk about their plastic surgeries or some bullshit. You need to, listen to Jiddu Krishnamurti every day for an hour. That has helped me. You can listen to my videos for an hour. That would be wonderful if that helped. So I hope it helps. So my videos are helping me already. So when I watch them again, it is very relaxing. Sometimes sometimes I have to go back to my own videos in order to relax after having watched other people's videos. It's like, oh my goodness, my head. I need to go back to my own videos and watch those. Like, oh, good. It's like going into a forest. And that is good, You making your own videos, you're already creating your own home on the internet. So your own bed, your own nest, your own paradise, your own art paradise, your art haven, and your safe haven, and your refuge, your safe refuge. It's good to do. And it helps other people, so that's why I recommend to everyone to create their own channel and make videos and talk about their lives. Very important. And become honest about it. Whatever you can reveal, you should, because other people will draw a lot of help out of this. I promise that to you. You already see it with Shane. Also, Trisha Paytas has helped a lot of people with her videos. Helped a lot of people. This is incredible. It's incredibly wonderful. There's so many people that can identify with her inner struggles and trouble, the needs and the social needs and the fear and the need to be loved. We all have it, that need to be loved, the need to be adored, the need to be wanted physically. That's a first line psychological need that comes from infancy. It, and we will act it out later on as an adult with our sexuality, yeah, with our needs, according to our sexual needs, and so on. It will become jumbled up very much, but the bottom line of all of it is always, whoever we are, the need for non-sexual physical love. And that goes much beyond sexuality, that goes much beyond social recognition, that goes much beyond your corporation and your reputation and people adoring you or respecting you or social respect and prestige, but the underlying wish is always, I need to be loved. And that's what a lot of people forget. They have taken off like a rocket into any of these directions of self-image making. So they created a self-image. Now you're the CEO and you think this is the real shit, this is the real deal of respect, this is real love. No, it's not. It's just an act out. It's an act out that covers up the real need for non-sexual love, being loved. Like every living being out there, every animal out there has the need for this love, non-sexual love, like what we give to the Papa Dog every day. The Papa Dog is our number one, and this love, this infinite, unconditional love that we give that Papa Dog, this you cutie, 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 you cutie, cutie, massage him and knead his booty and hold him like this and squishy and cuddly and kissy, non-sexual. That's what every single one of you needs. Every single one of you. And every one of your animals needs this. And every animal on this planet needs this. That's a fact. That's a biological fact. So we need to know this, and we need to act on it. And for those people that are traumatized and where it sometimes doesn't come naturally, and they may be very far gone into some kind of hardened image making, make it, do it anyway. Give love to another living being. Practice this. It will eventually become nature. And yes, the ego is afraid of the pain that will surface then when you do it. That's why people go into horror movies and war. Because they are afraid that with that silence, with the monotonous videos by Nicola Redwood, with the quietness, with the art, with the subtleness of making Play-Doh formations that are kind of boring and subtle. Like everyone can do it, like it's like something a child would do, but yes, that is where you need to go. That is where you need to go back to. You need to get away from the flashiness and the aggression and the car crashing and all of this. Those are all act outs that are there to cover up a dripping water faucet with the sound of a vacuum cleaner. Yes, you are doing brutal things to cover up the brutality that is lurking underneath. That's what you're doing. And silence, monotony, or that what appears to you as monotonous or too much in the head, too theoretical, too boring, too subtle, too plain. That will bring up that loudness that's inside, the loudness of the emotional pain from the past. It will bring that up. Don't be afraid of it. Meditate on it and let it come up. It has something to say to you. It wants to communicate with you. It wants to say, don't ignore me anymore. I have a message from the childhood and it hurts and you've been acting out, you're drowning me out, but I want to come to the surface and I want to finally say something. I want to say to you, that's what the pain says, I want to say you are an innocent little child on the inside still. You're still the tree sapling and you still have the same needs, but you're acting it out differently, but you're bypassing life that way. Come back to the original needs of the child, to play with Play-Doh and be loved non-sexually by someone. And if there is nobody, because they're all exactly in the same shoes as you are, we're all toddlers without a mother. That's what we are. Everyone, your parents too. So you have to be the parent to your parent. That's what Jake Paul is doing. He's a parent to his parents.